Welcome back, puppies, to Barking Dogs Miniature Painting Video. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can follow us on Facebook, and you can support us on Patreon.
Okay, so I'm getting ready to apply the wash on this guy. I went ahead and painted the jacket on this guy. I went ahead and based it in whole red. Now it'll get a couple of highlights and a wash. And next highlight is going to be Cavalry Brown. Again, I'm just showing you my colors. I say again. I'm just showing you what paints I use in case you kind of like the color scheme I'm going with. This isn't necessarily a, hey, if you're going to use these colors, do it this way kind of thing. It's just a, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is how I got it to look that way. You could actually use similar colors from just about any other company. There's a lot of companies out there that make really good paints. I'm going to come back over here, mix it with a little water, a little whole red, kind of get a mid-tone between the Cavalry Brown and the whole red, which Cavalry Brown is actually a very nice red tone all by itself, to be perfectly honest with you. That's probably just a little too wet right here. Probably should have taken off some excess like that. Just dab it on a paper towel. As you get a thinner coat. And I'm not going to push real hard into those recesses, so I'll let that whole red provide some of the shading. But if I do get up in there, I'm not going to worry about it, because again, this will get a wash, and the wash will go a long ways in helping that. Plus, it's going to get one other highlight before we're done. So again, with this color, I'm not being as pushy, and by that I mean I'm not trying to push under there, push up into the crevices. It's okay to leave some of that other red in there for shading. That's why it's there. Especially when you get here into these folds in the fabric, I'm not real worried about getting in there. I'm just going to hit some of the areas that are really protruding. And here I'm just going to use the side of the brush to get in on some of that. How much? Move that guy off stage a little bit. For this, I'm being a little bit more picky about the areas that I hit. I'm not going up quite as far. Now when it comes to blending this in with the color that's already there, because if you remember, I've already done a brief highlight that was actually kind of a mid-tone. I think it was one of the last things I went over in the previous video, although now that I say that, I think it got edited out because I'm going to put it in this one. So yeah, there's actually one semi-highlight already on there that was kind of a combo of the whole red and the Cavalry Brown here. This time, I'm just going straight. Cavalry Brown. Let me double check on the paint, and yeah, it's Cavalry Brown. And this time I'm trying to stay away from those recesses. The little wrinkles in the fabric, I'm just going over the tops of them. If you're ever in doubt, you can kind of do this little number, and that'll give you an idea where the most raised parts are. And as I've mentioned, this is going to get a wash and another highlight. Very careful right there, because I just want to get these raised areas here. Again, I'm just using the side of the brush a little bit. I'll start to come around here. This is going to be somewhat shadowed. I want to make sure we bring up the knee, where the knee's poking through there. So we'll add, we'll basically kind of layer it up, because the brighter paint will kind of build and it will stand out a little bit more. Just can't really see in there too well. Again, for getting these wrinkles inside there, I'm just going to use the side of the brush. I'm going to get just a little bit wetter. Just using some of the beads of water that are actually on the wet palette. I don't want too much paint, I don't want too much water. Which I might have gotten too much water there, I think I did. Again, that's what the paper towel's handy for. And then I'm just going to come in here and work on the sides like that. And here I'm not going to come all the way up to the knee. I'm just highlighting right down here. Kind of a natural transition. Alright, for today is I'm going to demonstrate the gray glaze that I was going to do to knock down some of this purple. It's really not too bad, but it's not going to hurt it to knock it down a little bit. So, again, the gray that I just happen to be using is this tunic gray from Scale Color. So I start out with just a little drop of it on my wet palette. I'm going to add to that a little bit of flow improver, about equal amount of flow improver. Actually, I think I ended up with twice as much because it came out pretty quick. But I'm okay with that. That's okay. That's not going to hurt anything. I ended up getting quite a bit of the flow improver on there, and then just equal amounts of the airbrush thinner to the paint. And again, I think the glaze medium was almost 3 times as much. I just load up my brush. It's loaded, and then I have a paper towel, and I just dab it on the paper towel. Let the paper towel soak up the excess. And then I just start glazing it on. I don't think I got enough on there, which I may end up adding just a little bit more paint to this. We'll see. A little bit of fuzz there. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but there's a little bit of fuzz. Okay, so we're back. Load up the brush. Again, it's really loaded. Dab off the excess. So I don't really want to add any more paint to that. I just need to make sure I get enough moisture out of it that when I'm going over stuff like this, it doesn't ooze out and fill into those gaps. Because I want it to stay on the surface. Like right there, that added a nice gray. I don't really need to thicken it up any. Go over his knuckles. I'm not really wanting to make it gray. I'm just wanting to kind of dull the purple. If that makes sense. Bring it a little bit more grayish. See how I'm using the side of the brush there? Just over the raised parts. Just bringing them up to a gray. I'm still leaving that purple in the recesses. And that's what we're going for. Now on some of the more like knuckly or raised areas, I might have the gray build up a little bit more. And that, my friends, is how we knock it down.
If you like the work you saw in this video and some of the images you're seeing now, I'm available for commissions. You can reach me through messaging me at Facebook, www.facebook.com/BarkingDogStudio. Patreon supporters get discounts on commissions as well as credit at the end of the video. Special thanks to the Clarks for their continued support. Bark on, puppies.